difficult are they making the decision to choose a starter?
I mean, we don't have to make it tomorrow, so I would say that that's probably a question for another few weeks. But both guys are developing very nicely. We know they're different players, but the areas that they need to improve on, they've both done that.
That answer tells you exactly where this quarterback battle stands. Nobody has won it yet, and the coaching staff clearly does not want practice headlines making the decision for them. Welcome back to NFL Pulse, because the part that matters now is what happens when these quarterbacks stop wearing the red jersey and the evaluation gets real.
Yeah, I mean, you just keep working it. I think he said this the other day, but there's one option. You just say, we're going to go on one all the time. Right now, it's not an advantage for you anymore. The defense can get a jump on you. Or you can stay committed to it and keep working it and hold the guys to a standard, and it'll get better, and it has. It has drastically since we've started.
And before we even get to who starts, that is the first warning sign. The offense has been fighting pre-snap mistakes enough that the coach was asked directly about them, and his response was basically this: they could simplify everything, eliminate some of the problem, and give up the advantage that comes from keeping the defense guessing. Or they can keep demanding more from the quarterbacks and the rest of the offense until the operation becomes second nature. That distinction matters. A false start in August sounds minor. A mistimed cadence sounds minor. A formation issue in camp sounds like something you clean up before week 1. But when the entire offense is being built around communication, motion, personnel changes, protection calls, and quarterbacks with different voices and rhythms, those little errors become part of the quarterback evaluation, whether anybody likes it or not. Because the starting job is not just about who throws the prettiest deep ball in a 7-on-7 period, it is about who can get 11 people lined up, communicate the call, recognize the
like you're talking about, but that's everybody. I mean, we talk about the 4-2s all the time. We're trying to save 8 seconds pre-snap, right, before every play. So that's getting the call in 2 seconds faster. That's into the huddle 2 seconds faster. That's the play calls. We have to make sure that they're short enough that we can be in the huddle for 2 seconds less, right? And then we're getting to the line of scrimmage at 2 seconds faster. So it's really everybody.
That 4-2s concept might be the most revealing thing he said all day. 2 seconds faster getting the call in, 2 seconds faster getting into the huddle, 2 seconds saved on the play call, 2 seconds.
Todd mentioned last week that once the preseason games start, it changes the experience for the quarterbacks because they can actually be hit, and that's something new for you guys to evaluate. How does the experience change for the quarterbacks when they're actually live?
I mean, yeah, I think you said it. I mean, we know that they're going to get hit now. So that's all part of our evaluation process. It's going to be a collective, over the last, including the spring and training camp, what they've shown over that.
There is the first major checkpoint. The preseason changes the test because quarterbacks can finally be hit.
Longer. Yeah, I mean, that's a huge part of it. Anytime that you're under pressure trying to make a decision, the more time that you have, the less pressure you're going to feel. So, I mean, we talk about that all the time. Like, you wouldn't want somebody who's operating on you to walk into the operating room late, sweating, doesn't look like he's prepared, right? So, yeah, if you can be more prepared and have more time, that relieves anxiety, and that's what we're.
That operating room analogy is more important than it sounds. The coach does not say we need the quarterback.
It looks like Gabriel's got more reps with the twos. What's behind that?
Yeah, I think some of that is just kind of fallen that way. He's done a great job. I mean, he's developed, and so has Talon. All those guys have really developed.
There is the Dillon Gabriel question, and the coach does something very deliberate with it. He acknowledges Gabriel has done a great job and developed, but he immediately widens the lens and says the other quarterbacks have developed.
Yeah, that's a great question. I would have said early on that guys were getting used to both of them, and now we have less of that. And I just think that the more time we do it, the less of those things that we're going to have, and they've improved. So guys have gotten used to them, and they've improved. It's kind of been both.
This is one of those details that disappears from almost every quarterback debate, but the offense has to adapt to the quarterback too. Cadence is not just noise before the snap. The timing, inflection, and rhythm.
How important is it to get your starting 11 working together as soon as possible?
Yeah, that's a good question. I think when we figure that out and when we know, then we'll move in that direction, because that is important. But they've been, working with all the guys already. We've been rotating guys in and out, and they've gotten.
That answer puts a deadline on the competition without giving us a date. Once they know, they will start moving toward giving the eventual starter the continuity that comes with working primarily with the first unit. Until then, the rotation continues. And this creates the central tension of every real quarterback battle. Competition helps reveal the winner, but eventually competition itself starts getting in the way of preparation. A receiver needs to know how quickly the ball arrives on an outbreaking route. An offensive lineman gets accustomed to the quarterback's pocket depth. A running back has to understand how that quarterback handles protection adjustments. The quarterback learns which receiver will flatten a route against zone and which one needs the ball placed away from contact. Those details are built with repetition.
Yeah, I think part of it is just getting used to the offense. I mean, we're now done installing, so it's not, I mean, we did all this in the spring, but it's not all new every day anymore. So I think that's a big piece of it. There's a lot of variables, right? I mean, there's that piece, there's the protection piece, right? And being under pressure. There's miscommunication on routes with wideouts and a quarterback that has to get ironed out. You know, there's a lot of things. But really, all of our quarterbacks have grown leaps and bounds as far as getting through progressions faster, knowing where their outlets and their check.
Now the offense is done installing, and that changes the quality of the evaluation. Earlier in camp, players are not only trying to execute, they are still learning. Every day can bring new concepts, new terminology, and new assignments. That makes it harder to separate physical mistakes from mental overload. But once the major installation is complete, the excuses start shrinking. The quarterbacks have already seen the concepts. The receivers have seen the route adjustments. The protection rules have been taught. Now the staff can begin measuring who is actually improving at the things that decide NFL possessions, getting through progressions, knowing where the checkdown is, understanding when pressure has defeated the original concept, and putting the ball where the offense can survive the down. That last part matters. Quarterbacks often lose competitions by trying too hard to win.
Depends on who we're playing. I mean, we're going to be in whatever grouping we think is best for us that game, and then within that, it's going to be multiple every game. I mean, I strongly believe that you need to regulate defenses somehow. So there's a lot of ways to do that. You can go fast, right? That's one way. If you're not going to be subbing personnel a lot, that's probably a bigger piece of what you do. Or you can make them deal with multiple personnels, right? A run game helps regulate defense. They're not allowed to do whatever they want because they know they have to fit runs and all the coverages they play, right? So
this may be the biggest clue about what the eventual starter is going to be asked to manage. The coach says he wants to regulate the defense. That can happen with tempo, it can happen through the running game, and it can happen by forcing the defense to respond to different personnel groups. In other words, this offense does not want the defense freely dictating the matchup. If the offense can shift from one personnel package to another, move receivers around, create different surfaces in the run game, and alter formations without becoming disorganized.
We've gained any certainty along the offensive line, given guys have been in and out, you came in with some question marks, and like, where do you think it is kind of in that process?
yeah, we're working through that. Like, I don't know that we have any more certainty right now because, like you said, we've had guys nicked up, guys in and out, but that's allowed us to see some other guys too, which has been good. But that's something we're going to continue to work through here for them.
That uncertainty up front changes how every quarterback rep has to be interpreted. The coach openly says they do not necessarily have more certainty on the offensive line because players have been nicked up and moving in and out.
No, I think that's very valuable. I mean, outside of games, that's probably the most real evaluation you can get, and it's going to be a different style, I think. I don't know, we'll find out in a couple of weeks, but yeah, that's a very valuable piece. We've done certain periods just separately on offense, working on other defensive structures, because we know what we're getting, from our guys, which is very difficult. But we have to work on, the things that we're going to see, especially early on in the season, and we've done some of that. But the joint practice and the preseason games.
That is the payoff. Joint practices and preseason games are where a lot of the noise around this. If you choose primarily from controlled camp practices, you might reward the quarterback who looks best when the picture is predictable. If you wait for preseason and joint practices, you get to see who can function when the picture changes. But there is a limit to waiting too. Eventually, the starter needs repetition with the group he is going to lead. The coach acknowledged that himself. Timing matters. Chemistry matters. A staff that does not trust the quarterback eventually has to simplify. That is the hidden consequence of this competition. The winner does not just take the first snap. He determines how much of the playbook the coaching staff feels comfortable carrying into Sundays. So forget the daily rush to declare that somebody won practice. The real moment is coming when the offense faces different looks, the quarterback can be hit, the protection changes in real time, and the coaches finally have to decide which player creates calm instead of needing calm created for him. That is the standard. And now the choice is yours. Should the staff keep this competition open as long as possible to collect every bit of evidence, or commit sooner so one quarterback can start building full-time chemistry with the starters? Tell me which approach you would take. Subscribe for the next NFL Pulse breakdown, and we will see who actually earns that first snap.